Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. As you can tell, it's not opening with Chris Wright this week, and he's not on the set. And unfortunately, we have some bad news for Chris. Good news for Chris, bad news for us is Chris is changing his residency to South Alabama, something he's chosen to do with his family, and it's a good move for him. Unfortunately, and bad for us is he's not going to be able to do the show anymore. So bear with me this week as we try to host the show, missing Chris, our professional host, and he's done a wonderful job. And I just want to take a few minutes to tell you all the good things that Chris has done for the Sheriff's Office and Calhoun County in relation to this show. He has done this show, I know, at least 15 years, maybe longer, 17 years, and he has done it mainly for free, and he shows up every week, and he's involved with this TV show and has been instrumental in helping find and locate numerous criminals and solve crimes. And I just want to take a few minutes to let everybody know that he'll be sorely missed, and he was an instrumental part of our community, and be very difficult to replace him. And thank you, Chris. Thank you for all you've done for Calhoun County, from the snowstorm in '93 all the way up until last week's show. We knew this was coming. We debated on whether or not to make that announcement last week. I guess I was holding out that he would change his mind and stay, but he didn't. And we wish Chris all the luck in his new endeavors in South Alabama. And it's definitely a loss for Calhoun County and a gain for Baldwin County. So thank you, Chris. Thank you for all that you do. And as always, you've never let us down as viewers. Brings our count up to 4,612 people put in jail, all because somebody was willing to help. 3 arrests this week. Thank you. Please keep Chris's tradition alive, and we've never been let down on that. So thank you for watching. We're going to have a guest this week, Grady Locker, and he's going to talk to us about schools and children missing school, what you can expect for virtual online teaching, what to expect if your children have to be quarantined as far as absences and things of that nature. So as we navigate this pandemic, stay tuned so we can get some more information about our children. Welcome to this week's of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Jerry Green of Russellville, Alabama. Theft of property 1st degree and a burglary 3rd. Timothy Isabel of Anniston. Failure to pay on his burglary 3rd charge. Warren Ware of Anniston. Probation violation for burglary 2nd, robbery 1st, and kidnapping 1st. Brandy Delaney of Lineville. Another probation violator of possession of controlled substance. Dustin Shears of Montford. A failure to appear on receiving stolen property. Ireland McGrew of Anniston. Probation violation, escaped 2nd. If you have any information for where these subjects are, please call the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600. Welcome back to the show. Hopefully you saw somebody in the first half of the lineup, and you can give us a call and let us know where they're at, and we'll be glad to come pick them up for you. This week we're here with Grady Locker with Helping Families Initiative. Mm-hmm. HFI. First half, a while ago, I was like, I'm not sure. So tell us a little bit about the initiative.
Okay. The Helping Families Initiative is a statewide initiative, although we're only in about maybe a quarter of the counties right now. The program goal is to help district attorneys' offices and schools deal with truancy issues and hopefully keep crime from happening. The idea is, sounds kind of simple on the surface. It is, if you can keep kids in school, they're more likely to graduate, and as you probably know, there's a disproportionate number of high school dropouts who are in the U.S. prison system. So the idea is, if you can help kids stay in school, they're more likely not to become involved in criminal activity in the future. So my goal is to work with families and kids to get them either back into school or to go to school more regularly.
You know, and that's something that I truly believe in, even forcing kids to go to school is good for them. You know, my mother and father would, you know, there's times that I'd say I had a stomach ache. Well, I really didn't want to go to school, but I really wasn't sick. And, you know, making somebody go to school is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So good. So what all schools are you in the county?
I'm assigned to the county system only right now. Each circuit, so in our area, the 7th, reaches out to the schools and sees who wants to participate. And at the moment, we just really started last year, full blown, and the county system was very much on board. There's a couple other school systems have reached out and said they're interested, but kind of, and with honestly COVID kind of hit schools' ability to kind of work on that right now. But I work just with the county system. Actually, although I work for the district attorney's office, I'm also in a partnership with United Way, but my office is in the county school system, and then I work with those students in the system there.
Well, and the county school system has, I believe, 7 different main schools. Out of that, I think they have around 21, 18 to 20.
I think it's 18.
18 different schools, you know. Pleasant Valley might have 2 or 3 or whatever else. But
and there's almost 8,500 students there.
Wow.
So technically I work with 8,500 students, but obviously not all of them have issues that I need to look at. So
but it's still it's a big thing. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to this part of your career.
Yeah. Well, for 25 years I worked at Oxford High School. I worked 15 years as a teacher. And then for 10 years as a high school counselor. And I actually had retired. My son graduated college last year, or graduated high school last year. And when he graduated, I decided that I was going to use that opportunity to try something different myself. I initially had looked at going to Georgia and being a high school counselor there, and had been offered a job in Georgia and had taken it. And Brian McVeigh called me up, and our district attorney, and called me up and said, hey, I've got an opportunity, and I think you'd be the perfect person for it. And he actually told me that Donald Turner, our superintendent for the Calhoun County Schools, had noticed I had retired and thought I might be good for that position as well. So I've got obviously have an education background, so I use my counseling role in my position now.
Well, good. Well, and out of that, when we get done taking a break, we'll talk about what all that you do with each individual students. But so you've only been doing it a year. I imagine the COVID-19 pandemic has altered somewhat.
It's altered it a lot. It's altered it a lot.
All right. Well, stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a few minutes for the second half of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to the second half of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Johnny Cole of Cedartown, Georgia, failure to appear on attempted theft third. Glenn Lee of Talladega, probation violation, possession of a controlled substance. Katie Ingram of Lincoln, another failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance. Tristan Carmack of Talladega, failure to appear on use or possession of drug paraphernalia. Latasha Chapman, Covington, Georgia, probation violator, assault second. Daryl Pickett, Lineville, Alabama, probation violator, possession of controlled substance. Franklin or Frankie Ham of Anniston, Alabama, has a bond revocation for domestic violence, strangulation, suffocation. If you have any information on the whereabouts of these people, please call the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600. Welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, and hopefully in the second half of the lineup, you recognize somebody and you can help us locate that person and put them in jail. We're back with Grady Locker with Helping Families Initiative. And some of the things that you've been doing is the COVID-19 and the transition of schools. You know, I have a 16-year-old son that's in 11th grade, and my daughter's in college, actually graduated from a different school, but her and your son knew each other, graduated together. And from 2019 to 2020, there has been a drastic change in how all of us live in general, but especially in education. You know, my heart goes out to educators in the sense that them and their administrators have this enormous task of educating people, but on top of that, now the task is how do we handle the pandemic? how do we make this work where the parents feel comfortable that they're taking care and keeping the children safe against a virus that you can't see. So that's been very difficult, and I've seen in the county school system where I had the opportunity to enroll my son in a virtual or make him attend, and the first 2 weeks of school he's told me different things about his teachers not being there, and he's watching them on a computer program. The teacher's at home because she's sick, but she's still teaching in the classroom, and he's got friends that are virtual, and you hear things about how they're doing their work. You're working with that. Can you tell us how the difference between the virtual and the...
Well, it's a challenge. In fact, like I said, I was a teacher for 15 years. I don't envy teachers now. I can't imagine how difficult the position would be. In the last year's experience with my position, it was not simple, but it was pretty straightforward. Schools provided me with attendance data. If I saw a student with a good number of unexcused absences, I reached out to the family. 5 unexcused absences gets a family to early warning court. So I would reach out before then, show the family, what can happen and what can we do to prevent that. I show family, most families, especially with younger children who are dealing with truancy issues, the issue is usually maybe it's a need for drug intervention, or maybe it's a need for housing assistance, whatever it might be. I can use my partners with United Way and help that family find the resources they need. It's fairly easy for schools to help identify those students because they weren't at school. But with students now, like I said, there's almost 8,500 students in the county system. Over 2,000 of them are virtually educated right now, which means those teachers don't see them every day. The school doesn't know where they are every day, which means they may or may not be involved in school. So,
and one of my big concerns is just the social aspects of all of this.
Yeah.
When I say social, just not social interaction, but my mom always said, the idle hands is a devil workshop. So if you got kids that are home and parents have to work, me and my wife both have to work. So the structure of how everything has been done, most moms and dads are work, and if they're a single parent home, that parent works. Everybody tries to make a living. So the schools, that set schedule provided people a way for their children to know they were fed, taken care of. Somebody knew if they were there or not. Now they're at home, and do you know where they're at, what they're doing? And I worry that there's going to be a higher influx of children getting in trouble.
Fortunately, schools, I can't speak for all the school systems in the area, but the county has an attendance policy for virtual school. Essentially, a student is counted present by logging in, but not only logging in, but also attempting and completing assignments. A teacher doesn't see that happen in a 3-day period. They have to reach out to that family and find out what's going on. After a few more days, if that doesn't solve the problem, the administration is supposed to get involved, and after that, they'll call on me to help intervene. Even with just 2 weeks of school under our belts, I've reached out with about 30 some odd families just in this week.
Is that up from when you...
Oh, considerably up. Yeah, these are kids who are already a week or more behind on schoolwork. In many cases, haven't even begun, even though school started 2 weeks ago. And like you said, worried about what might be happening at home. An example was just yesterday. I went to a home where the student had not participated in over a week. The teacher had reached out, couldn't get in touch with the family. The teacher, I had met with all the virtual teachers just to introduce who I was, and she reached out to me and said, we've attempted, my principal's attempted, we just can't get the family to cooperate and to talk back and communicate with us through either email or phone calls or anything. So I went to the home and discovered that the 8-year-old son who's a virtual student is home with his teenage sister who's also a virtual student, and the parents are at work, and the teenage sister is doing the best she can to do her work, but she doesn't really have the ability to monitor what her younger brother's doing.
And this is all uncharted territory that we're doing, and some of it's forced upon us.
Oh yeah.
And I guess we'll have to figure it out, and there'll be some hitches and some bumps along the way, but I don't envy teachers for that,
No,
trying to
no.
get through that, but it's asking a lot of an 8-year-old to log in at a certain time and do homework.
Yeah,
You know, when I was
yeah.
8, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and that's what the issue is, and so we're trying to come up with a better communication system between the parent and the teacher so that they can help monitor that a little better. Because in this case, there doesn't have to be a set time. He could actually do his schoolwork at night when the parent's home, but that's not happening either. So we're trying to work out a system to make sure he's not getting a truancy issue. It sounds kind of funny to say that there could be a truancy issue when the student is at home and supposed to be working, but in this case isn't.
Well, you know, in these weird times of 2020 and COVID-19, I guess we'll figure it out in the long run.
Yeah.
But, thank you for being on the show,
Well, thank you.
Brady, and thank you for all that you do, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Stay tuned to Calhoun County's Most Wanted and need some help with some property crimes. Welcome to the Crime Stopper section of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We need your help solving these crimes. Property crime on August the 25th, a church located on Highway 78 East in Anniston was burglarized. A door was damaged. On August the 26th, a local citizen reported telephone contact by an unknown person. The scammer identified themselves as a U.S. Marshal. They stated they had an arrest warrant for the citizen. The scammer then instructed the citizen to purchase gift cards to pay for the bond. The citizen gave them access codes for each card and allowed the person to steal $5,000. Please don't fall for any type of online or telephone scams where somebody asks you to send them money electronically. On August the 27th, a local citizen was contacted by a person claiming they were the Social Security office. The citizen was told that they had drug offenses and money laundering charges against them. The caller talked to the citizen into giving them a debit card number and even downloaded 2 apps. The citizen lost $650. Between August the 26th and August the 27th, an unknown person removed the batteries from 3 Kubota tractors located on Jennings Drive in Piedmont. Between August the 23rd and August the 26th, a storage building on Highway 431 in Ohatchee was broken into. A blue and green kayak and a blue and white kayak and 25 pounds of gunpowder and primers for bullets and 2 fishing rods were taken. If you have any information of these crimes, please call the Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600. We need your information, not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
This week's dumbest criminal goes out to a bank robber up in the northern part of the United States who, first bank he ever attempted to rob, he goes in with a note, gives it to the cashier and says, be quiet and be quick and give me the money. And so the teller gave him about $400 and he ran out of the bank thinking he had gotten away with it, except for the fact that the note that he gave her was written on the back of his pay stub. I'm not sure if you know or not, but your pay stub has your name and more than likely vital information like a social security number on it. So he didn't make it very far. And just remember, crime doesn't pay. It's best just to do the right thing first and foremost. And again, give a shout out to Chris Wright. Thank you for your 15 to 17 years of service to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the Sheriff's Office, and our community for the last 30 years. You'll be sorely missed, and I know you'll visit, but thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for watching Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Hopefully we'll see you next week, but not in the lineup.